Hi
Great.
everyone. So today we have Asma Derouiche. Asma is a multidisciplinary artist. She's also an incredible entrepreneur that brings artists, designers from the Middle East, and she brings them together in a creative way. In her studio that I visited in Doha a few months ago, I entered the store and I was like, "Wow, what is this?" Because you feel it's extremely modern, but then it has a depth that we don't often see. You understand that there is kind of respect to craftsmanship and tradition in a very unique way, and that store is Studio 7 in Doha. Hi Asma, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
No, I'm very happy that you said yes, and I'm very interested into what you're doing with the studio and how you got there. So can you tell me a little bit about what was the trajectory that brought you to create this incredible space that now is kind of a figure, an emblematic figure in Doha?
Yes, so it was mainly the change of scenery between, I come from Tunisia, and then when I arrived to Doha, it was a completely different place in the world that I haven't been used to, and I was trying to understand it. I was also mainly trying to understand it from a designer point of view because I have a product design background. So my interest was mainly product design, people who are making a product, the cultural scene in Doha, how it works, what it is, if I want to define it. It was a little bit complex for me. And then I joined a school, the Virginia Commonwealth University in Qatar, to do a master's. It's called the MFA in interdisciplinary design. And so all my research was focused on cultural production in Doha and something called the design dialogue and the new authentic. The new authentic was a new term that I decided to bring to this environment to define something that it's hard through our background and culture to define as authentic, but but it's actually something authentic, constructively authentic. So the idea was that I did a lot of investigation on the local culture, people, designers, artists, products, places where we can see products. And then I went really deep into these research from a design point of view. And I did a participatory design project where I brought designers and professors at Virginia Commonwealth University. And then I paired them with artisans from Souq Waqf, which is a very culturally
Rich.
strong, rich place in Doha to do work and then to produce and collaborate together. And then that's how the research grew and developed into learning new ways to collaborate and to produce and to understand the products in Doha. And that's how I thought that having a platform and a space, a creative space in Doha that brings and celebrates all these aspects together would be something, is something that doesn't necessarily exist and would be something that I'm interested in. And that's how Studio 7 came to life.
Amazing. And so, how was the reaction of people, like especially like from the region, and also like I mean, Doha is such a platform for international people. Like, so how do people understood the new authentic?
So we try as much as we can when we have people. Now it's through giving them tools in the store and explaining work from different designers and why it's here and what's the idea and the story and the process behind this product, but also having a space that is extremely diversified and multi-layered, where you find objects and products, a variety of products that involve a design process. At the same time, they are unique. You didn't see them before. They are, you feel like you are curious about them, to know the story and everything. I think that's something very important where we explain to people the process. The new authentic is, so usually a piece, like a product, we call it authentic when it comes from a certain period of time. Usually it's the old. So for us, for instance, in Tunisia, when we go to the old souk, when we find a product that an old man is making, and he's from Tunisia, and it's culturally charged object, we call it authentic. That's because that's what we agreed on. But there is something called constructive authenticity, where people at a certain time, in a certain place, collectively decide that this is something authentic. So then this is called constructive authenticity. And I think this applies perfectly to Doha, because it's a very specific environment and place in this world where it's extremely heterogeneous. It's cosmopolitan, full of people from different background, cultural background, and they are all contributing to what this identity, contemporary identity is of this country. And I think that's what we can call the new authentic.
That's so cool. And how do you find artists and, you know, like an artisan all around the region? Like how do you kind of go around and find those people? And, you know, like, are you localized on Doha, but have the feeling like I saw artists from Algeria, from like all over the Arab world. So how do you kind of find those people and actually connect them to each other for being interdisciplinary?
So this is like, maybe it's a personal interest where I dig and try to research, and whenever there is a work that speaks to me, then I would go and directly contact people who are making work, and then try to explain what we do here and see if they are interested to be part of this community, whether by displaying, by offering them a platform where they can display and where we can also showcase their product, but also by fostering and creating collaborations between them, where we bring people from Doha and whoever the other artisan or part is creating opportunity and create brainstorm projects where it can be a collaborative project and create like a hybrid product. I think that's very rich and brings a lot to the local culture or even regional culture. So usually I dig and go and contact them, but also after we did the soft opening, then another opening, people started hearing about the space, and then they started to ask if they could be part of the place. And then, but also there is a curatorial aspect. We want to make sure that we maintain a certain quality in the shop, that also we only include items that really involve a design process. A design process sometimes can be a material research, the product can celebrate a culture. It could be made through an innovative design process. Like there is a variety, and we also celebrate and welcome all kind of creative initiatives. It could be creative food, performance, experimental music, anything that is that can fit under this creative umbrella.
So you actually also use a space as also like a performance space, and wow, okay, amazing. I didn't know that. So
we do a lot of pop-ups. We do a lot of pop-ups and events.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how often do you kind of like revamp the whole experience, you know, I guess to kind of make sure like people keep coming back, especially locals? Like, how often do you kind of revamp the whole thing?
So initially the space is designed in a way that it allows to reiterate the space accordingly. So it's a modular design system where everything is floating, it's hanged, and nothing is attached. So whenever we have something new, we can move things around and change them. So already customers, when they come, they always say, we love coming back because it's always different. It's never the same. That's already an experience and an insight that we had from people all the time. But also it's maybe 4 times a year we do like a big shift, or like an event, a creative event that brings the community together. It's all about community. We try to, instead of having a fragmented community, we want to bring them all together and offer them a space, like a safe space for creativity, where they can be free to express themselves through work, design and art, and also a space that allow them probably because Studio 7 is also worked as a design studio, and we try to help designers that come with an idea to produce it and commercialize it. So it depends on the idea. If we believe in that idea and if we think that it has a lot of potential, then we can take it further. We can produce it for them. For designers who are unable to produce, it could be because they don't have any experience in manufacturing or in getting in contact with suppliers or finding suppliers, because that's also a task that is quite difficult. So it's something that we do to make sure we keep always the community coming back and then, fidel to Studio 7.
So you have the store space, but you also have within it or behind it somewhere another space dedicated to kind of like, artists in residence, I might say, or something like that. So it comes as the two processes. I didn't realize that. I didn't know that you have kind of an artist in residence type of space.
It's not really artist in residence. Sometimes designers. So I also, I am involved with Virginia Commonwealth University, which is the only design school in Doha. And there's a lot of work produced throughout the year that is extremely interesting to be part of the market. However, at that stage, being a student, it's very hard to move from a student and have an idea to actually make it real and produce it and everything. So what we do is we stay in touch with the school and with all the professors, and then throughout the curriculum, we know that what are the products that the students are working on, and whatever products that have potential, we can take it and then develop it for them. That is not done in the studio itself, but it's another kind of process. What is here in the studio behind the curtain is the office. So where work is done, meetings, all kind of things.
So, and how do you feel like this kind of very unique space that you have, do you think it can be reproduced in places, around the world according to their own culture, or would you kind of consider integrate more culture, like let's just say Latin culture or something like that? Do you see it growing like that, or do you think it should be kind of a model that should be reproduced in other places in the world within their own culture?
Yes, I think when I was first working on creating a platform to bring and to connect designers with the clients, with artisans, with artists, the idea was that it becomes a system that could be implemented in different places in the world, but after investigation of how it can work in that specific environment, because each environment is different and it's very specific. So the one that we did now is very specific to Doha, but we can see it developing in other countries. Eventually, we want Studio 7 to become the cultural and design hub that brings Arab designers and Arab design and break that stereotypes of and preconceived idea of what Arab culture should look like, or what and how it is, because we have that a lot. It's based on our own stereotypes.
Yeah.
So we want to break that. It's quite modern. It's very innovative. It's very rich. There's a lot of research behind it. So already what we want to do is we want Studio 7 to expand and be the Arab, that showcase the Arab design to the other world and bring it out to the other world. So eventually we'll have an online shop. We can ship worldwide. We will have.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. For example, I would love, get some stuff in New York, but obviously, like, you would have to be able to. So that's the online shop and the presence online would be the next step, right?
So we are currently working on it.
So what do you think is for you today Arab culture and Arab design, and like for you, like who has such kind of like a deep knowledge and understanding of what it is, like how would you describe it to an audience that's not that familiar,
I think it's extremely rich, and it takes its inspiration from different parameters. Apart that it's a background, it's a way of living, it's community. It differs from one place to another. But I think it's something that is extremely also innovative and rich in terms of materiality, message behind the work, process. Sometimes it involves the old and the new, and that it creates something extremely interesting. The designers are extremely open to collaboration and then to know-how exchange. So you find a lot of richness in the product, again, in terms of process, materiality, but who made it, if it's a collaboration or not. So I think a lot can be understood about the Arab culture through the products and then through the artwork that we see. I think it's timeless, and yeah, I think it's timeless.
Obviously, something that, ring a bell for us, because we do believe it's actually extremely timeless. Somehow it can be extremely modern, because there is a simplicity in the way of life that is also extremely sophisticated. So at least for our product, so I truly understand what you're kind of saying. Yeah, like it's all about kind of very specific type of values that are today very, like valuable. Like sense of, like sense of home being very kind of sacred, and comfort and chicness, and like there is certain things that I think today are more relevant than ever. So, but I'm quite curious, because I do feel it, but it's very hard for me to describe. I wonder if you would be able to describe it. What is the common denominator that is the Arab, like that would be like part of the Arab culture, because it is very diverse, but there is some sort of commonality. I don't know if it's in the values, I don't know if it's the kind of thing, but there is a commonality that I think is very hard to describe. And maybe from a design point of view, we could be describing it.
I think what I see in common and like strong project is a sense of home and nostalgia. So it works on emotion. It's a product or the piece of art. It tries to trigger certain emotions, and these emotions are always related to a nostalgic thing in back home, or a certain feeling, or a certain ritual that you do, and this always triggers something in the person. You cannot be indifferent, or you cannot not feel anything when you see this product. And then also that's how people buy products. Like, we buy products that we don't need. The utilitarian function is not longer very, very important. We buy objects because we want to have them, because it speaks to us. We want to see them on a shelf. It's not because we necessarily need to use them. Even a piece of art, even a carpet, or the colors, the pattern, anything like it could be an object that has smell or sound that's always triggers a memory of a place, a memory of a specific time period. I think that's as Arabs, we work a lot on that nostalgic, emotional home feeling aspect, according to me.
I love that. I think that's actually very beautifully said. I don't know how it's exactly what I wanted to say, but I didn't have the words. So merci. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Okay, I think like I think you gave us a very kind of beautiful idea about what it is that you do, and I think it's very inspiring. And I hope people who stop in Doha will come and see you at the store. And most importantly, I hope you start like shipping also overseas, kind of be part of this kind of experience online. I think it would take it even to like a greater level for all of us who are not lucky enough to be in Doha. But thank you very much. Honestly, I appreciate very much, and see you soon. I'll try to the recording as well. Voila.